Hello everyone! I'd like to share my Eula build and her team compositions with you in this short guide. I'm starting with the build, then go over her team compositions and show some Abyss gameplay at the end.
Beg for mercy. Vengeance will be mine. Eye for an eye. Ha, yeah. Ha.
Eula is using a very straightforward DPS build, just high attack, crit rate, crit damage, in her case obviously physical damage bonus, and since she is a physical damage character you can completely ignore elemental mastery. Regarding energy recharge, she is very energy hungry, but a lot of her team comps use a second cryo character like Rosaria or Diona, and her own elemental skill has very low cooldown, so you generate a fair bit of cryo particles, so you kind of have to feel out if you want to build energy recharge on her. Her talent priorities are pretty straightforward as well. Obviously her normal attacks are important and her elemental burst skill deals insane damage. So level these two up and once you're done with this you can focus on the elemental skill. Her constellations are pretty much just a straight up damage increase. There are some interesting ones though. For example, Constellation 2 decreases the cooldown of the holding mode elemental skill, which is obviously nice. It generates more energy so you can build less energy recharge, and it has a lot of synergy with the 4-piece Pale Flame artifact set. Her Constellation 6 is obviously pretty much insane because usually you can get like 15 stacks on your elemental burst skill. With this you actually have a way to get the maximum of 30 stacks, which essentially means you double the damage of your elemental burst skill, which is obviously crazy. Eula actually has quite a few good and accessible weapon choices. For example, the event weapon Luxury Sea Lord, which increases the elemental burst damage, which is obviously great on a character like Eula. You have the craftable prototype Archaic, which is just generally a good claymore on a lot of characters. And you have the Snow-Tombed Star Silver. You can craft it as well. It's technically a little worse than the prototype Archaic, but it's not by a lot. So if you just want to craft it because it looks really good on her, just go ahead. It's not too much of a damage loss. And obviously if you have the Battle Pass weapon or some 5-star weapon, just use it. Don't even think about it. It's gonna be better. For artifacts, we already covered the substats earlier. For main stats, obviously always attack percentage here. Theoretically, if you're energy starved a lot, you could also build energy recharge main stat here. I strongly recommend attack percentage though. Physical damage bonus here always, and crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your stats better in the last slot. For the set effects, the best one is the Pale Flame set, which you can get from this domain, the 4-piece set that is. If you don't have this quite yet, you could pair the 2-piece Pale Flame with the 2-piece Bloodstained. And if you don't have any Pale Flame yet, you can pair the 2-piece Bloodstained with like the Noblesse to get more elemental burst damage, or just the Gladiator for a little bit more attack percentage. You could even throw on a 4-piece Gladiator in the beginning because Eula still normal attacks a lot. And now for team compositions, again very straightforward. You have one main DPS, one healer and 2 supports. Our main DPS is always Eula. Our healer can pretty much be anything. Most people prefer Bennett. Especially with Eula, Diona is a very popular choice because she generates a lot of cryo particles and can charge up Eula's elemental burst skill. And for the third slot, it's gotta be a electro character because you obviously want superconduct. Eula is a cryo character and you get it with another electro character. Your choices are Raiden, Beidou, Fischl and Zara. Raiden is by far the best choice because she increases the elemental burst damage with her elemental skill, and she can charge up the energy of Eula with her elemental burst skill as well. Aside from this, both Fischl and Beidou are great options. I don't really like Zara as much because her attack buff only lasts 5 seconds, so it's really hard to fit into the 7-second window of Eula's elemental burst skill, so you don't get as much value of her. And the last slot can pretty much be anything that kind of increases physical damage, like Zhongli to lower physical resistance, or if you have constellations on Rosaria or even Xinyan, you can get some benefit there. Xinyan also gets the Pyro Resonance if you picked Bennett as your healer. Or you could just pick something with general utility. If you need to group up enemies, you could pick something like Venti or Kazuha or even Sucrose. And now for the showcase. Eula's gameplay is actually quite centered around her elemental burst skill, because after you activate it you have a 7-second window to fit as many normal attacks as you can, because each one increases the elemental burst damage of her by 148%. On talent level 10, this is obviously incredibly strong. And the most effective way to do this is just attacking 4 times, then dash cancel and attack another 4 times, and then again dash cancel, and you repeat this until the elemental burst skill goes off. You do this because the last and 5th attack looks really cool as she throws the sword, but the animation is just too long and it would take too much time from the 7-second window that you have. And now for the actual showcase. Obviously you want a super contact with any physical main DPS, so we just use Raiden here. And then you always lead with her elemental skill to get the first charge of her elemental skill, then the elemental burst skill, and then hold her elemental skill to lower the physical resistance. Then you again try to fit as many normal attacks as you can, and then the elemental burst skill goes off, and then you just repeat the whole thing. And for now I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay and come back at the end of the video.
Brace yourself. Beg for mercy.
How's this? Finally,
More speed.
More.
Time for takeoff. Teamwork is dreamwork. Crush. Flood of frost. I condemn you. More speed. Adventure time.
Alright, we made it to the end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own builds. Stay tuned for more guides in the future. Until then, have fun and have it, and bye bye.